Good day, viewers, and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. We are live in the National Television Network, NTN, at the Command Center. With me today in studio is the Honorable Ezechiel Joseph, who is the Minister with responsibility for agriculture, fisheries, physical planning, natural resources, and cooperatives. And next to him is our Permanent Secretary in the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources, and Cooperatives. Welcome, gentlemen, to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. P.S., and Mr. Minister, I started with you, Mr. Minister, because you are coming here bearing gifts to our farmers and our fishers, etc. Today we're talking about the post-COVID stimulus packages. Give us a preamble, a background into how this program came about.
Well, thank you very much, and let me say good evening to our listeners out there. And we are happy to be here to give information as to the program of the Ministry of Agriculture and all the other areas of responsibilities as it pertains to a post-COVID stimulus program. Right? And I'm happy to be here because, unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity, while we were in Parliament, debating the policies to articulate what our intentions were as far as post-COVID. So today, with my PS, we are here to at least inform our stakeholders as to what we have put in place with the support of the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Prime Minister, and of course with the support of the Cabinet as far as resources are concerned. We have a total package of about $7.2 million, and I'm using the wrong figures, $7.2 million to assist our stakeholders in the agricultural sector. When I speak of agriculture, I speak of fisheries also, all right, and in a number of areas. For example, I'll just give you areas generally, and of course as time goes by we will elaborate as to what we are focusing on, and of course how our stakeholders, the target group, can access the funding that we have put in place. First of all, you're looking at the question of fisheries and aquaculture. Okay, you look at the livestock sector, crop production, apiculture, banana production, land preparation, and market access. And let me say that in part because, you know, aujourd'hui, nous ici pour parler et puis, by information, sur qui ça ministre agricole qu'a fait pour assister farmers pour le post-COVID programme. Comme gouvernement, comme cabinet, ministre finance, nous $7.2 million. Et puis là, ça a support pour tout secteur agriculture, fisheries, aquaculture, animaux qui nourrissent les animaux, qui fait crop production, apiculture, c'est all by apiculture, c'est qui fait si au miel, fig of course, et puis land preparation, et puis market access. So, nous allons parler à ce qui manière et puis qui ça nous cabaye différents secteurs.
Okay, let's look at bananas. I think that is in your belt. Tell us exactly what packages are there for the banana farmers.
Well, Sydney, you have any farmers who call me a banana farmer? The first area you want to talk about is bananas. So, yes, as a government, we, of course, have given support to our farmers. I'm sure persons would remember that there have been an outcry from our farmers as to the lack of payments that Winfresh UK was not able to give almost a number of weeks, 10 weeks. And totally, we have been able to advance to the NFTO. I'm using the first time we had a check of 1 million, and the second time again, which was a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we gave another check of 1.4 million. Apart from that support to assist the farmers to be paid, I'm sure that farmers who are involved in the industry would be getting paid, because one of the agreements that we put on the table as a government and as a shareholder of Winfresh UK is that whilst we are aware that our farmers are selling to the NFTO, we're also aware that the companies, the supermarkets, are paying the NFTO. and we told the management and the board that we cannot allow their being paid, and we can't allow that for them to be paid and they're not paying our farmers. So whilst we have advanced the $2.4 million as far as payment is concerned, we have put it in place that they have to be current in the payments of our banana farmers. The information that we have received, PS and myself have received, is that for the past 2-3 weeks, the NFT, the Winfresh UK, they are paying our banana farmers. But apart from that, we are also giving support in inputs, and I'm sure PS will speak to it, in fertilizer and in chemicals for control of black cicotuca.
Okay. Well, PS, it was right in your lap. Give us a little idea exactly how it's going to be rolled off.
Okay, good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone. In terms of our COVID response, the plan and the objective of the response from the Department of Agriculture is to actually ensure there is sustainable livelihoods for farmers, fishers, agro processors, and the likes. So ensure that livelihoods are maintained. That is one objective. The other objective is to ensure that persons stay in production. We keep food security on the table to ensure that food nutrition and food security. If we don't want a situation where external markets are closed and we cannot access food for ourselves. So that is the two major objectives of our COVID response program. The other overarching element of this program is that we're not providing income support, we're providing input support in the entire program, which means that you will not get cash in hand, but you will get inputs to support your industry, whatever that is. As it relates to bananas, specifically now, the inputs that we are providing as of last week, we are providing fertilizer, specifically 50 kg bags, 2 bags per acre to banana farmers, farmers in production, active banana farmers, registered with us through our banana productivity improvement program. The other thing we are doing, we know that we've had a problem with black cicotuga from last year, and we're helping the farmers stay in production by providing cycles of oil and fungicide to treat that black cicotuga. Also, the extension officers have been working with the farmers because we know there's a mealybug infestation problem, and we're also assisting with that in helping the banana farmers. So these things are what we're doing on the ground. And you would have seen coming out of the Department of Agriculture as well, the TR4 sensitization program, banana farmers as well. So these are things that are not really, all of them are not embedded in the COVID program, but targeted towards our sector.
Okay, great. So, since we are continuing on crops, Mr. Minister, let us, since you say you're not only a banana minister, let us look at crops.
Well, that's what's been said out there. I mean, everything the ministry is speaking about is bananas, which is far from the truth. Yes. Because, I mean, we are doing a lot of work in the other subsectors. Just that the banana seems to be given more prominence because the banana farmers are more vocal and they have been facing a lot of challenges. But yes, we're looking at crops. So the whole aspect of crops, in fact, you're quite aware that we started the 7-crop program before COVID. We had our plans well laid out. In fact, last year, 2019-2020, we had set ourselves a 5% target to reduce the importation of these 7 crops. When we review and did our evaluation at the end of our financial year, we realized that we accomplished 4.75% of a reduction in this crop. So which means the program that we have put on the ground is working, all right? Unfortunately, we were looking at a 20% this year of these 7 crops. And whilst we started these 7 crops as an initial stage and getting support from the government and people of Taiwan, we need to at least emphasize that, and it's a 3-year program. We are saying that as we move forward and in the implementation of the program, there will be other crops coming on board. And that's why we, as a government, we had agreed to restructure the Central Marketing Board so that at least the Central Marketing Board can play that pivotal role in providing a reliable market for our farmers, right? Unfortunately, COVID has come, and like PSP is a very important point. What do we do? Do we tell the farmers, look, to stay out of, get out of production because we don't have a market? Or do we put systems in place, programs in place to assist them in continuing to produce? Because Sydney, I mean, as one who have been on the field as an extension officer, we'd appreciate if we don't allow the farmers to continue production, it will be more difficult for them to come back into production when we are ready. And the point PS raised, we have to feed ourselves. That's right. All right, because it's what's happening around the world right now. We have to feed ourselves. So the crop production, we have $1.355 million to assist our farmers. That's post-COVID. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the import substitution program.
I know.
That's different.
That's different, yes.
Post-COVID, and then number of areas. Likewise, we're giving inputs, supply. We're giving seedlings. All right. So at least, let me say not. I don't want to say we're giving. We give it at a subsidized rate. I want to make that clear.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We give it at a subsidized rate. I don't want farmers to say, "Oh, who do you buy plan? Eba chairman, plan. Who got in people?" I want to at least share the information that we give at a subsidized rate. We sell at a subsidized rate, so at least the farmers can access the planting material. And of course, I'm sure they would appreciate that the mere fact that they have make some commitment in purchasing the seedlings, they will utilize it. Okay, so definitely that's one of the areas we're looking at. We also, in the absence of expanded market. For example, the hotels, most of the hotels are closed. I'm happy to hear that we are slowly reopening. The cabinet, under the recommendation of the Prime Minister, said let's have a soup kitchen, all right, where all those farmers we had in production, if all the supermarket closed, we said, okay, we're going to purchase through the Central Marketing Board, and we're going to utilize the products that we have purchased in a soup kitchen where we cook and distribute meals. Now we are distributing the raw food, all right. Unfortunately, we're not getting the quantities that we would like to, because we are just coming out of the drought. Yeah. So when that was, whilst we have COVID closed down, and we had an opportunity for our farmers to market their produce, what we found out now, because of the effect of the drought, that the type of requirements as far as food is concerned for our food program, we will not get in the quantities that we... But definitely, I mean, we see the rains are here. I'm hoping that, and the way it's falling is very good. Not a heavy shower one time. So we are happy that the rains are here and we can continue for our program.
P.S., the Minister raised a very important point as far as the St. Lucia Marketing Board is concerned. And I'm hoping down the road, I will not hear that name anymore. I'm looking for call it, for this point, we'll call it the new entity. Tell us the critical role that the marketing board is playing and will play, especially with the restructuring of the marketing board, with the new manager, and of course with the new workers, if I may say so. Where does marketing board fit in this whole scenario?
Marketing board is pivotal to marketing access, providing access to farmers and redistributing that access, even pivotal to our export strategy in terms of the international standards and requirements that we have to meet for export. So it is key to everything that we have to do in terms of market access. The name marketing entity, I promise you, Mr. Zini, that we are working on it. Up to yesterday, we had a meeting with the marketing board, and it's about the rebranding and restructuring of the marketing board to arrive at a suitable name and a suitable strategy to ensure that the marketing board gets the recognition that it needs. But as far as the access by farmers to the marketing board, during COVID, you've seen a resurgence of the visibility of the marketing board. Farmers came to the local market, came to the marketing board, and the marketing board served as that hub that was always envisaged by the Department of Agriculture and the government of St. Lucia. So they were able to access that island-wide network that they have of food and redistribute to the persons that required it for their retail and for their other sources. So farmers were able to get an income in a time where hotels were closed, restaurants were closed, from the marketing board during that period. So they served us well during COVID-19, and we want to ensure that the marketing board remains a strong institution to continue serving us well. What we've done also with the marketing entity is that we have established a pack house. Right. Now, what is a pack house? A pack house is an area where you receive food, you clean it, sanitize it, package it, and distribute it. The difference with this pack house is that it is going to be HACCP certified. Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, which is an international food safety standard that you have to achieve if you want to export. So that pack house will serve as the hub. You'll be able to package and redistribute food. There will be a small lab for quick testing of chemical residue to ensure food safety. So that will be a hub, an easy redistribution center that farmers can access through the marketing, through the management of the entity. And Once that is in place, then we'll see the resurgence of a strong marketing of local produce, locally, regionally, and internationally.
You know,
just one point I will bring there,
yes.
And it's critical that we appreciate the role of this new entity. And let me start practicing now. The role of this new entity, right? Because what we were told when we went around before COVID, planning for the 7-crop program, right? That a number of the hoteliers were telling us, look, the reason why we are engaging small farmers directly because of reliability, okay? Now, on the ground, the challenge is that these small farmers on their own cannot, on a sustainable basis, supply the hotels. What's also happening is that you find they're undercutting each other.
Yes.
All right? And also, one of the challenges they had was the question of a timely payment.
Yeah.
We can say that since we have commenced restructuring the St. Lucia Marketing Board, we have not, and I'm happy to say that as minister responsible, I have not have the unfortunate responsibility to go to the Minister of Finance to ask for a bailout for the St. Lucia Marketing Board.
Which is very good.
Right? The St. Lucia Marketing Board is holding on its own. They're paying the farmers on a timely basis. You know? So, move these farmers, la, you only put that, I mean, pour sa contenu ka produit, manger pour payer, il est nécessaire that pour me bailler là on pour catch la botte c'est la place où qu'on vend produit ou qu'a produit ou qu'a fait qu'on vend et puis le gouvernement nous a été nécessaire pour nous ça continuer qu'à opérer entité ça pour buy farmers and outlet pour ça vendre produit Coton PSD nous aussi a mis ça au pack house et puis quand nous avons local production but que le bail vie normal nous et puis nous avons et puis invest export Saint Lucia là il y a chaque opportunité pour nous vendre produit nous un restructuring of Windfresh aussi Premier ministre a dit il est nécessaire at least parce que nous les bâtiments qui sont tous les semaines et puis quand nous avons des infrastructures ça il est nécessaire pour nous savoir qui l'autre doorway nous savoir et puis pour vendre en la place de l'Angleterre. So nous avons une opportunité et puis il est important pour farmers comprendre that contract arrangement c'est qui nécessaire pour assister you pour les venir pour ça vendre produit.
D'accord. And you know what was interesting for me when the early shutdown and people were home. The interesting thing, we have been in the ministry over the years, I've been asking people to grow your own backyard, garden. And our tagline, eat fresh St. Lucia's best. You know, and during that time, I mean, COVID had negativities, but I think it opened doors and windows and raised our eyebrows to many areas. And one of the things that happened, I mean, our good friend in the valley, Francois, who's doing his seedlings.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I saw traffic jam there.
Couldn't supply, yeah.
And he couldn't supply.
Because everybody saw agriculture as a savior.
Exactly,
right?
at that point.
And then say, okay, we put all our eggs in one basket, tourism. That's not true.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not true. I mean, we need, and I want to say it, and I've said it, and I'm going to say it, we need a vibrant tourism industry. It's how agriculture can capitalize on that industry. And that is why we sat down at the ministry, we say, look, let we stop talking and start action.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And we went out there, we met with the major players in the industry, we spoke with them, we heard what the challenges are, what the requirements are, and that is why we came up with the 7 Crops program. Right? So at least that's a start. We cannot grow everything.
Of course
and we have to understand that. But what we can grow, let's see how we can produce it year-round and not seasonal. And that was one of the challenges that we faced with, the question of seasonality, the question of quality.
That's crucial.
Crucial, you know? And that is why the pack house comes into play. Because if farmers can understand the reason for that central marketing entity where we do the grading, we do the testing, because food safety is also important.
Critical.
That's also important, and we have to at least educate our people, not in question of food production, but food safety is also important, critical. And that is where the pack house will now be able to do the tracing. I mean, I bought from Sydney, I did. I have the lettuce there, I can trace it, and I know, well, Sydney, when they use some chemical, that produce cannot go in the market.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. So at least we make sure that whenever something leaves our pack house, it's a healthy product.
That's right. And added to that too, okay, there's a pre-testing at the pack house, and then there's also testing at the lab,
the National Diagnostic
facility.
But that is more rigorous and all rigorous testing,
right,
as it is. So it is a spectrum of testing that will take place on the produce. But the pack house facility will have rapid testing on particular.
And that's important. I'll tell you why. Because trust me, there are consumers out there who are very concerned about the local produce. And they keep telling you farmers are using harsh chemicals and they harvest anytime. So they do not allow that period, the 14-day period, to harvesting. They do not allow. They get a market within the 7 days. They will harvest the crop, especially the leafy vegetables, and they are very, very observant on that. So that is critical. But Mr. Minister, let's go to. I can understand it from the production end, which is the primary production. Let us look at the processing end. Okay, and we go to the agro processors. Tell us what's happening.
Your favorite topic, right?
I'm so happy. COVID again have opened doors for them, stemming from the World Food Day activity to the meeting you had with them, and that propelled them into. They formed themselves into a group already. Okay, and the ministry now is working with them to ensure smooth sailing. Okay, are there any packages for them in this?
Yeah, well, we have $80,000 allocation for agro processing.
Okay.
All right, to help them with packaging material, to help them with equipment. All right. Of course, I'm happy that you raised that point, because when we met with them as a ministry, we said to deal with individual processors, it will be very, very cumbersome, right? And I'm happy that at least they listen and they've formed themselves into a group. Unfortunately, we had big plans for them with regards to working with Invest St. Lucia, putting a tent at Point Seraphine when the cruise ship was coming in. That is, they could have started advertising their product, but that did not materialize because of COVID. But notwithstanding this, we know in fact, we were speaking to the bank. What was that? Central Development Bank, right? On their behalf during the week, right? I'm saying that, look, there's need for us to really give financial support to these individuals, because they're doing a very good job. And like you said, for the last 2 World Food Day, I don't know what's going to happen this year, but for the last 2 World Food Day, they really came out in large numbers to really educate St. Lucians as to what is really is being produced in St. Lucia. And of course, the whole Buy Local campaign under the Ministry of Commerce, right, should give them that level of support. I'm aware, based on discussion with the cabinet, that we are looking at, of course, the new marketing entity when they would have constructed a new facility, would make provisions for local products. And I'm also aware that the intention of government is that when we refurbish the Castries market, that we would have a section for locally grown produce, art and craft, value-added products. So definitely, I'm happy that they are forming themselves into a group so they can capitalize on that opportunity.
Definitely.
But definitely, we have an allocation there.
In addition to that, too, we also have the CMOS farmers and the CMOS processors, and of course, Mr. Pierce, I'm sure you can relate to that because of the tour we had at recently in Prale and also in Savans Bay. So what's in it for them?
CMOS farmers, definitely. There is an allocation in there for CMOS farmers. We did meet with the hub of CMOS production in terms of Opika and Pale farmers. And that was an eye-opening experience in terms of the number of persons who are into CMOS production now, and the role of the ministry in regularizing them and registering them and ensuring that there is a safe space to plant, harvest, and prevent issues such as predialasne. CMOS is fetching a ridiculous price on the international market, so persons are running towards that in the instance of low employment or little employment, so they see it as a positive employment area, and the ministry is going to give support. So we plan to give again input support in terms of the main inputs for CMOS farming, which is the twine, at the dryers and in those areas. For CMOS farmers, definitely, we are looking to ensure that they have a safe space in terms of the spatial planning for their layout and ensuring that they have input. So the Department of Fisheries is tasked with that responsibility, and we have ensured that there's an allocation for them.
Mr. Minister, also this is a Creole?
Well, I mean, PS can speak Creole, so
You better.
yeah, mostly did that. Go the question about CMOS. Nuka aussi by SIPO pour CMOS farmers là, because nous t'es allé joindre puis yo, nous tenions first meeting en vieux fort, yo dit nous problème là yo teni, nous aller aider pour qu'on ça a fait as far as production is concerned, et puis nous satisfaire that l'année shine interest en affaires CMOS, et puis nous quoi les nouveaux records là manière by qui des pays qui exportent l'année high potential pour CMOS. So nous avons support matériaux, nous avons support equipment. But moi voulais dire that it also necessary whilst nous ces farmers là qui expand. Nous voulons dire that nous ne pouvons mettre weg. En affaire manière nous avons servi facilité à nous produire CMOS là, nous mettons weg. Aussi, nous mettons weg et c'est mon qui a acheté CMOS là et puis vendre. Because you know c'est good challenge là c'est CMOS farmers ni. C'est ça que les prix de là c'est. Mon qui voler CMOS yo et puis qui vendre. Et puis si nous pas mettre weg tout ces bail ça là gagner chez toi. So whilst nous qui bail support pour ces CMOS farmers là, nous voulons via organize group yo, via organiser ça you can faire et puis from groups ça, but nous also crois that is important pour nous ça regularize c'est mon qui a acheté CMOS là et puis vendre l'autre pays, because si nous pas faire ça nous gagner chez toi et puis ces farmers là qui disappointed because you can produit et puis on va ça vendre et puis on va ça vendre là you can expect pour.
I'm happy to see how Export St. Lucia really worked with them. And you can see the returns. I think up to a month ago, was $1 million worth was already sold out, on the export market. So that tells you there is money to be made in the CMOS industry.
And there's a demand for it.
And there's a demand for it.
In fact, I don't know, but there's a demand for it. They say our CMOS, I mean, when you compare to other, our CMOS seems to have a better quality.
Yes,
It's just like our cocoa.
That's right.
So there's a demand for it. What I'm fearful about is the question of the mere fact that I have so much interest in it. The question of space.
No, that's the problem.
And the question of how we share all with the other users of the marine environment, to avoid conflict.
Yes.
And I can see the quicker we can resolve that matter, the better. Because
there's a gold rush,
Yeah, because I can see there might be some conflict moving forward as far as the utilization of the marine environment.
There's another concern as it relates to CMOS. It's about keeping the quality and standard of CMOS. So we don't sacrifice quality for money and dollars to make a quick dollar.
Right.
That's the other concern. Like we did with bananas, people putting things in boxes.
Right.
The fear now is that we're going to get substandard CMOS and mix it and sell it to make a quick dollar, and then the industry suffers.
That's right.
So in all that we do, we should ensure that the quality, because they love St. Lucian CMOS because of the high quality, the cocoa, and because of the good quality, so we have to ensure that the quality is maintained.
Definitely. Let's look at apiculture, the bee farmers. I know you mentioned them, Mr. Minister. What's in there for them? Well,
we are treating this like we're treating agro processors,
right?
All right? Providing with the whole aspect of inputs and the whole question of packaging material. What's very interesting for us this week, we got a lot of interest as far as the facility we have in Lakai. We have been out there for a very long time.
Right.
So I don't know if COVID has weakened our bee farmers, but definitely we have this facility down there and it has not been utilized. But we are hoping that at least we can see it being utilized to its fullest. But definitely, yes, our bee farmers will be getting support as far as inputs. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, so we move straight into the fishing sector. Okay, I heard you mention, they too, because they play a very critical role in our nutrition, and then and it's not easy out there for them. Okay, so tell us anything in there for them as far as post-COVID is concerned, Mr. PS?
Definitely, the fishing sector is a very vibrant sector. You would have realized that because of that vibrancy and the need to ensure a good and safe source of protein, that it was only 2 weeks after the shutdown that the minister and the cabinet made provisions for them to access the sea and to go fishing. So we put provisions in place for them to do that. What we have done is ensure that we have engaged the groups via their representatives, and we sought to find out what they required. So coming back to us, they indicated things like fuel for the vessels, which was one. They were concerned about their safety. So for some time now, there was VHF radios that we had not commissioned. So to commission that and to ensure that the vessels have those radios for safety. So these are two of the main elements that we have for fishers. For aquaculture, we have feed, fingerlings, so that type of support, input support again, will be given to persons engaged in aquaculture and aquaponics likewise. So we are definitely targeting our fishers to ensure that they are safe and that they have some subsidy to ensure that they can return to the sea and fish. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I just want to follow up on what PS said there. We are looking at registered persons who, before COVID, had a license paid.
So they'll be the ones benefiting?
Yeah. Okay. This is not a free-for-all because, you see, we have to set standards. And based on what the information we got from our Department of Fisheries, there are about 270 vessels registered. So these are the persons that we are going to give support to. Yeah. So what that is telling us, those persons who are out there who are in the fisheries subsector, is important for them to see the benefit of registering the vessels. Okay, we are going, like Pierre said, we are targeting between $700 to $900 worth of fuel voucher. We're going to pay the license for the VHS radios, right? And those who don't have, we would be providing them, giving them the radios. Okay. All right. And PS was talking about the aquaculture farmers, the same thing, feed and stocking material, be it fingerlings or baby shrimps. Okay. So as the radios are coming now, all right, we think it's an opportune time, to assist those individuals. So they should start cleaning up the ponds, and because the whole aspect of the aquaculture, if I recall, when we had agreed, just like the greenhouse, when we had agreed to go with the whole aspect of aquaculture, we were more or less targeting what we call the low season. Because remember, we have a high and low season, and the low season coincides with the hurricane season. Right. So we are saying that because if we can now manage and control the production through aquaculture, these farmers would be able to sell, right, and fetch a high price. So definitely, with the rains coming now and in the hurricane season, it's an opportunity for them to start all over again and to produce. Okay, especially now we have agreed that we are going to seriously expand our school feeding program, and in the whole buy local campaign, the expansion of our school feeding program, the whole aspect of locally grown products and fish and chicken and pork would be the products that we're going to encourage the Ministry of Education through the central marketing entity to purchase. So we are exposing our young children to locally grown products, we're exposing our young children to healthier products, what we know that we grow, so at least we don't have the type of problems that we are seeing right now. So definitely the fisheries and aquaculture subsector is critical, and we have at least over $500,000 allocated for that subsector.
Aquaponics, I didn't hear anything. Are they going to be involved in that too, right?
Yeah,
not aquaculture, but aquaponics.
Yeah, on the crops.
On the crops.
Yeah. High tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Mais ça est porté pour dire en créole, monsieur PS. Parce que nous voulons ces pêcheurs d'or à la save qui moun qui a ni bénéfice programs là. So di know Mr. PS. Di c'est pêcher do. Dans l'homme di pêcher, là ni pêcher femme tout
moi ici des patwa. Pour toutes ces pêcheurs, nous département agricole, nous les allocations ba yo. Nous les assistance pour ba yo. So assistance délai fuel, gaz pour ces bâtiments, c'est monde qui registré avec le département Fisheries. So nous avons allocation pour ça. Et aussi nous avons provision pour les gens qui fait aquaculture. So aquaculture nous avons c'est poisson à manger.
Poisson en mar.
En mar. OK. En mar. C'est ça qui agriculture poisson en mar. Oui. Nous avons manger inputs so by ko nous avons so nous play assurer yo that département agricole a fait provision pour payer assistance export pour secteur fisheries.
D'accord, Mr. PS. But let us look at livestock. I'm sure you have the poultry farmers, you have the, So, Mr. Minister, I see you shaking your head. Tell us something about the livestock farmers out there.
Like I said in my opening remarks, we look at all of the subsectors, and livestock is one of the subsectors we are looking at. We are going to be giving support as it pertains to inputs, feed, for all the sectors: pig, swine, poultry, small ruminants. Okay.
Besides feed, we also will be providing some sort of pharmaceutical or medical support, medical treatment, for farm animals. And
we have less than $1 million allocated for the livestock sector. So definitely they would be getting support.
Good, very good. Apart from the stimulus package, Mr. Minister, would you want to tell us exactly what's happening at Volet in the movement?
Just before the stimulus package is not finished, we talk about land preparation. Yes. We talk about market access.
Okay.
Yeah, so the number of other areas, because land preparation is critical for our farmers, and one of the problems that they have been faced with is the whole aspect of getting a timely intervention as it pertains to land because of financial resources. So we are going to give our farmers who are in the vegetable production or whatever agricultural crops production, we will give them support for as far as land preparation. But what I want to see here today is that we're not going to bring the tractor in one location to do one
farmer. Yes, that's to be organized.
It has to be organized for the extension officer. So farmers that are interested, they come together, make sure the land is prepared, because we have limited equipment, and we have to move it around the island. So we don't want to, when we come down, let's say we come to an area, there's only one family that's ready. And so I just want to employ our farmers to look, let's get ready. That opportunity is there. So let's get ready.
And that fits under the 7 crop projects.
Even more, because we want to start cultivating. Because what we realize based on our research is that although the holders are closed now, but they're reopening, and that is the time there's a bigger demand for vegetables when we have the tourism season and we have the rainy season and things like that. So the whole aspect of production now moving into the rainy season is critical. Land preparation is also critical, very important.
And with that too, I'm thinking under the 7 crop project with the opening of the hotels and of course the new entity coming on board, how is the crop scheduling is going to happen out there, because that's critical. Don't forget COVID came in and the farmers were ready. And then of course marketing board came in with that same program that you spoke about, to the soup program. Okay, but we're moving into the opening. We're not too sure. So the thing is, we do not want a lag in production. So how is that going to be sorted out?
Well, we're going to have our production scheduling, and we're going to target the acreages that we're going to put on the ground at any given time. We are monitoring closely what's happening with the Hotel and Tourism Association reopening. But as a government, we'll continue our food support program, and we would need produce for it.
Definitely.
We will also, with the thinking of reopening school in September and the expansion of the school feeding program, also that will provide an opportunity for farmers to sell through the new entity and of course feed that into, because what the whole thinking is, whilst with the new entities then we do our grading, what we call a grade B and a grade C would be processed, semi-processed, package and feed into the school feeding program.
Right.
So definitely, whilst we don't have the expand of the type of market that we would like because of the closure of the hotels or the major hotels, but the restaurants are opening, all right? The support as far as the food package and also as far as the intention to expand our school feeding program. This can provide market for our farmers.
Mr. Minter, I am very concerned about, again, the new marketing entity coming on board. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be business as usual as a social entity. I'm going way back as to the objective of marketing board original. Farmers believe that you can go out there and sell the A-grade produce to high-end, like the hotels, and then you just dump the second and third grades to marketing board. And I'm sure that's one of the areas that put marketing board in a lot of problems. How, moving forward with the new entity, how is that going to be looked at?
Well, we'll be monitoring all of these farmers, and that's where extension plays a very important role, right? First of all, if the farmer wants to be part and parcel of the program, they have to be trained because of question of food safety.
Great.
Okay. They have to be trained in the new technology because with the government of Taiwan giving us support, we are introducing some new technology into the production of these crops. They have to understand that they cannot produce more than what we ask them to produce. So we say you're going to produce 1 acre, it's 1 acre we expect you to produce. And if you say you're going to plant it next week, we expect you to plant it next week because the crop takes time and we have a schedule. And we'll be monitoring. If that farmer, we realize that farmer is not honest, and I'm happy you brought it up. If you didn't realize the farmer is not honest, because they can get 25 cents more, and a lot of farmers, that's the problem we have in the past. They can get 25 cents more, they go and sell it, and then that 25 cents more is not consistent.
That's right.
You know, they will not come back into the system. We're not going to accommodate them. We're not going to accommodate them. I want to make it clear, it's an opportunity. Farmers will get serious. I prefer that you be able to sell all what you produce. And you know you don't have to go all over the place to sell it. You know it's 20 pounds they're taking from you every week. Your scheduling will allow you to produce 20 pounds every week. You go, it's $10 or $1 a pound. That's what you agree with. Let us be serious about this. Right. Because what is happening, and you see, during the lockdown, before the lockdown, we are having situations where the same has happened at Fish Marketing Corporation.
Yes. Okay.
The more demand species were being sold, and the lower species were sold at Fish Marketing Corporation at the time. Now the facilities in private hands. At that time the Fish Marketing Corporation had to buy, and they were purchasing species that were not in high demand. Now the new entity saying, look, let's go into contractual arrangements. And there are fishermen who were speaking highly of the new entity. The fishermen are speaking highly of the decision that we have taken because they've been paid on time. But of course, those of us who are not disciplined, right, are the ones making noise. Oh, the government privatized Fish Marketing Corporation and we can sell our fish. But of course, you can sell your fish, And because of the lockdown in the whole food package program, we are buying fish. Because we understand that the hotels are closed, some major supermarkets will close, so we understand that they would have an abundance of fish in stock. So we are buying fish to distribute. So here it is, we have to be disciplined. We can't be, the other substance, we can't be burning the candles on both ends. Right? And that is what we're expecting, that those farmers that have been identified to be part and parcel of the 7 Crops program will understand that discipline, honesty, and commitment to the program is critical. And any breach of any one of them, they would not be benefiting from the program moving forward.
Okay. Any areas on the program that we left out?
Market access, you want to?
I think we dealt with marketing entity already. So. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to say that c'est un programme gouvernement qui a support. Nous avons support tous ces secteurs là, les pêches, les animaux, les crops, monde pour préparer terre. Nous avons support pour ça, agro processing, fig of course. Comme M. Sidney a parlé, il commence par fig, mais fixer dernier bail là la liste là. Market access, nous avons support tous ces bagages là. Farmers CMOS, nous avons support technology. So c'est un programme et puis quand nous dit nous pas bail là. Because là nous te voir programme nous entrer nous te caver là. OK et puis gouvernement dit non nous ni ça quoi créer des non NIC contribution program.
Okay.
Right? So c'est mon ça la farmers qui a fait contribution pour NIC. So c'est farmers ça access under the NIC program. But gouvernement also dit that nous need non NIC contribution program. So c'est farmers ça qui pas voir la NIC. Gouvernement dit c'est farmers ça access là ça pour programme ça. Pour ça nous pas bailler là, nous pas bailler matériaux, nous pas bailler support en différents côtés.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to livestock. I'm sure, apart from the stimulus packages, there are ongoing programs in all of the disciplines. And I just want to start with livestock, as I mentioned, the movement of Beauséjour, right, to the livestock facility to Volet. We just wanted to again, let the public know exactly where's the program and where it's at this juncture.
Well, Pierce can speak because Pierce had a recent meeting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Pierce.
So
had a recent meeting which I have not gotten an update on yet.
In terms of the move from Volet, so Volet is under ongoing construction. You would appreciate, or the public would appreciate, that during COVID there were construction delays, and then the contractors, various contractors, you have contractors for the small ruminant swine, stockman shed. These were the contracts given for water, electricity, and for the road and earthworks. So contracts given. So during that period of time, there was a delay, and they basically had to reapply, or apply, I should say, to the Department of Agriculture to commence the works again. So there was a delay. But most of these contracts are well within the being implemented with good progress and speed. What we are afraid of now is further delays because of the rains. We're coming into the rainy season and the hurricane season. These projects did start off late last year, and then there was that hiatus because of COVID, and now the rains again, and it is construction work where the rains impact heavily on your progress. But they are proceeding nicely. We don't have any images to show the public, unfortunately, but progress is beyond 50%.
Great. And that takes me straight into the meat processing facility, which is supposed to be moved again from Beauséjour into the valley. Can you give us an update on that? Sure.
In terms of the meat processing facility, the structure is supposed to be erected in the general Lakai area in Dennery, Larishu's Dennery, that area. What we have received so far, we have received the approvals for the earthworks of clearing and the foundation works from the DCA, and we are waiting finalization of the receipt of resources for us to commence construction.
Okay. Added to that, I'm looking at the lab, the diagnostic facility at Union.
Yes.
I know we have been speaking about it. A lot has been done. Where is it now, and how soon you figure it's going to be reopened?
Okay. The diagnostic facility, National Diagnostic Facility, is about 90 to 99% complete. What we are missing now is a few items on the snag list. So just to test things like the fire protection, the AC, some electricals, walk through the building. We now have furniture, we have awnings, tiles, everything in there. Cabinets are being erected, so it is about 90 to 99% complete. And we anticipate by the end of July that everything should be in place. Staff should be able to move in there. In fact, the staff are already transitioning. They already start moving from their offices, putting things in place. They have started moving across to the National Diagnostic Facility.
Okay.
But we do remain other structures to put up that we are in discussion with the Ministry of Finance for. So we need a chemicals reagent room and we need a post-mortem room. So these things will be new initiatives submitted for the next financial year.
Beautiful.
But the building, National Diagnostic Facility building and the services therein, it is complete.
Great. Mr. Minister,
you see, I cannot wait for the operation of this facility.
Okay.
Because, we speak a lot about inputs. We speak a lot about agriculture. But the support system needs to be there to encourage our farmers, our stakeholders, to continue what they are doing. And when the idea that there's need for lab in Central really hit me as a member or at the time of the Ministry of Agriculture, I can share that experience. I was at the time managing the Sarfalus community farm. All right, and then when we get a lot of hairline cracks in our egg production, okay, it was very costly, right, as an institution to do the testing of the feed, all in Trinidad.
Right.
Okay, and I said to myself, if it is costing an institution like that so much money, what about the small farmers? What are we doing as a ministry, as a government? I was not in government at the time. I was telling us that when the idea came. What are we doing, to really assist our small farmers who will be experiencing, that type of situation? And that's where the idea of there's need for a lab, that type of infrastructure to give support to our farmers. I'm happy that it was an idea, we got the resources. I'm happy that the Labour Party government continued with that idea.
Okay.
But I'm really looking forward for the opening of the facility, and of course to give the support to our farmers, because we have had experiences where farmers, especially our livestock farmers, one bad mix,
That's it.
can create a lot of setback. In their production. But there's nothing they can do. When you go and you make a claim, you say, "But how can you prove that the feed was not what's on the bag?" And that is why we believe that there's need to really have that facility. Also to protect our consumers, and like PS said a while ago, now food safety is critical.
It's critical.
Right? Critical for us as a country. Island-wide people are producing, but we need to make sure that whatever we produce is healthy and we're not creating more problems negatively as far as what our people are consuming. So the facility will be there to give that type of support both to the producers and to the consumers.
Definitely. And there's an issue that I was involved with, the fertilizers.
Right.
I remember some years ago, banana farmers, there was a fertilizer company here, a French company.
And
they were doing physical blends. I'll never forget that. And all of a sudden, the farmers, trust me, they know the fertilizers, And I remember a farmer came in, we were at Angers, and he came in and he said to us, "Look, we have a problem. The fingers are deformed and everything." And then when we went out and we carried it, there's a little committee, Mr. Police, we went out and we checked it out, and we realized that the formula that's supposed to be in the bag was not there. Okay? And the other thing was the question of even the weight.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, so you can understand the problem the farmers have. So all the profit is gone. You understand? Anyway, gentlemen, as we're about to close, I want to as about to close, Mr. PS, I want your final words, sir.
Let me take the opportunity to thank the farmers, fishers, everybody involved in the industry for their support. I also want to thank the staff of the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources and Cooperatives. Often we speak about frontline workers as nurses and doctors, but we have frontline workers within that department. We mentioned pretty lastly, extension, quarantine, admin, all the like, and we kept our doors open during the pandemic and to assist the public. So let me thank them for their support thus far. Let me thank the Honorable Minister and the Prime Minister for their support as well, and for financing and for allowing us to roll out the COVID response program. I want to say to everybody, to all fishers, farmers, and the general nation, that the department is committed to the agricultural industry, to seeing production increase, to food security, food nutrition, So that is our commitment, and we are dedicated to that cause. Thank you.
Mr. Minister?
Well, thank you, Sydney, for giving us the opportunity to come and to at least inform our stakeholders as to the opportunity that we provide as a government, as a ministry, and as we call it, the post-COVID support system. We want them to capitalize on the opportunity. We see it as an opportunity to help them to continue the production. We want them to work with the extension officer, because the PS and myself, we are not the ones implementing the program. It's through the extension officer, interacting with the extension officers out there. That's how the program will be implemented. Mostly the tout farmer, we have nous by SIPO initié, but of course, nous expect you that pour travailler puis extension officer you, parler by extension officer you, so extension officer represent them pour un SIPO you that nous bay là. Nous voulons dire continuer à faire bon travail là nous faire, et puis comme PSD, nous voulons remercier tout le monde qui est involvé dans le secteur. We say thank you to you again for at least providing us with the opportunity to inform.
That's right.
All right, and your unit to inform. And as we move forward, I want to say thank you very much to my cabinet, because without my cabinet, I would not be able to get the resources, and of course, most importantly, the Minister of Finance, who is heart and soul, I can say here openly and honestly, his heart and soul is with the agriculture. And whenever whilst we have to fight to get resources, but whenever we can put a good case, you know, I'm sure I will get the support that I need with limited resources. So I want to say thank you to all, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, there's another fight, you know, since PS mentioned frontline, in terms of getting vehicles for I don't want to drop it here, because I've been asking the questions about frontline, and then during COVID, we were frontline officers also.
Well, one PS said we just open I must find out whether my officers are also benefiting from the frontline, because they were working during
definitely, exactly. So there's some the questions are out there. They've been asking questions out there.
Oh, they are asking
questions? They have been. They have been.
Well,
in fact, they come to me, they tell me to ask you.
Okay, no, well, I'll follow up with
you. Definitely. Yeah. Well, Mr. Minister, Mr. Pierce, thank you for being here. Viewers, you've been watching Agriculture on the Move at the Command Center and the studio of National Television Network, NTN. Thank you for viewing. Remember, agriculture is our business. Eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. E.C. Sanu. Thank you. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye.